Hey there, friends. I'm starting to sound like a broken record to you guys. It would appear that we may actually have a gang violence epidemic, not really a gun violence epidemic. Note the sarcasm, please. Police are investigating after 2 men were killed and multiple others hurt in a shooting in St. Paul's Frogtown neighborhood late Saturday afternoon. The St. Paul Police Department says 5 people were shot on the 500 block of North Dale Street near University Avenue at a senior living apartment building around 5:15 p.m. Police say a man is in critical condition, 1 woman is in stable condition, and another woman has non-life-threatening injuries. The shooting took place in the parking lot of the Kings Crossing by Episcopal Homes, an apartment building that offers housing for low-income seniors 62 years of age or older, after a celebration of life held in the building's community room. One of the residents, Miss Joanne Childers, who's 79 years old, said that it's normally a very quiet and secure building. She said she noticed people arguing outside and gathering around the doorway to the grocery store. She came downstairs and it was very, very loud, like a couple of hundred people up in there, quote. No arrests have been made, and police say that they do not believe the shooting was random, but have yet to identify a motive. Well, I wonder what it could be. I wonder. It's definitely not a mass shooting, as the correct terminology of a rampage killing that I pointed out in my book would lead you to believe that this is a person who is hell-bent on killing as many people as possible. That's not the case here. Look, it was mentioned in another news article that there was an altercation, and right afterwards is whenever the shooting took place. Clearly, it's either gang-related or it's wannabe gang members who are shooting at one another, acting like they're big, tough, and bad guys. In many cases, you can tell just by looking at the surrounding businesses what type of neighborhood that we're in. You'll notice we have like a Boost Mobile, that's your prepaid mobile, and some other businesses over here that are pretty common in, I don't want to say seedy parts of towns, but just not the place where I'm going to look when I'm trying to purchase a home, if you know what I mean. Oh, asterisk off to the side, parentheses, I'm not talking about race. There are plenty of seedy, garbage neighborhoods where crime exists that have nothing to do with black people, brown people, or white people. They're simply bad parts of town. I know it's tough to deal with sometimes because so many people choose to live in those areas and don't want a better way out. I get that. If that's your choice. But don't complain to me that you live in those areas when I point out that they happen to be high crime areas. This marks the second shooting in St. Paul in the past 2 days. On Friday evening, 3 teen boys were wounded in a drive-by shooting during a funeral reception for a 15-year-old boy who had been fatally stabbed at a St. Paul high school earlier in the month. Gang-related. Or let's call it what it is, wannabe gang-related. These people call themselves gangs, and they're really a bunch of cowards that really they can't operate without a huge number of people behind them. The average person who is a normal, solid person, a pillar in the community, doesn't need a, quote, gang around them to feel tough or to feel safe. These people, in many cases, are simply a bunch of cowards, and they move in numbers because that's the only way they can do anything, and they're just absolute losers. So that's why these people are a protected group of people, regardless of what color they are. They are protected because they live off of the government. The politicians have them right where they want them. The politicians don't want this to change. That's why they always call for gun violence, because they don't want to upset the gang members. They're constantly going to come out after this and say that this is another act of senseless gun violence. Well, the problem is you're not identifying the real problem, which you know what it is and you know that it exists, but you don't want to touch it because God forbid you upset somebody that might be in a gang and all of a sudden that they or their family doesn't vote for you anymore. Because what you really want to do is keep them enslaved, keep them imprisoned in these communities with the free stuff and the handouts and promoting single-family homes in this type of living environment, because guess what? As long as you can control what goes to them, you can control them.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so horrible.